Apriori algorithm. Let's see what are the basic steps of the Apriori algorithm. First one is the initialization. Given the transaction details, you have to analyze and find out the frequent item set as a result of this a priori algorithm. So in the initialization step, we'll begin with identifying all frequent one item set. So at a time, we'll consider only one item. So these are the sets of single items that are having the support equal to or greater than a predefined minimum support threshold. So at start, let's say you have 10 items in your transaction, all the transactions. So we'll find out the support for all these 10 items and we apply the minimum support threshold on these items. We identify this support count and then we'll apply the threshold to cut down the items which are not frequent. So the items with greater than or equal to the minimum support threshold value are considered as a frequent one item set. The second step is generate candidate item sets. So here main two processes to be done, join and prune. The joining and pruning. Now we have identified the frequent one item set. We'll combine these item sets and we'll have 2 item set, 3 item set and so on. So combine the frequent k minus 1 item set to generate the candidate k item set. Now if you have the 1 item set to generate 2 item set, we'll combine the 1 item set, 1 frequent item sets. So this process is known as the join operation. Now the third step is prune candidate item set. So how to do the pruning? We have generated the frequent item set or we have generated all the possible combinations by combining the frequent k minus 1 item sets. But we don't require all these item sets as these all are not frequent. So here we will apply some threshold, that is the minimum support, to prune or to eliminate the candidate k item sets. Getting? So from the one frequent item set, we combine all these in the group of 2 items. And these are called as candidate items or candidate item sets. Now, from these candidate item sets, we'll eliminate those which are not satisfying the minimum support value. For this, we are using the anti-monotonicity property. So, as they are not supporting the minimum support value, if it is less than, those are discarded in the third step. And this process, step 2 and 3, continues till we are not getting any the frequent item set or you are getting same frequent item set. So you have not generated new frequent item set, then you will stop. Fourth step is calculate support for candidate item sets. We'll scan the transaction database to count the support of each candidate item set. Now we'll discard those item set which do not meet the minimum support threshold. In the step 5, 2, 4 are repeated until no more frequent item sets can be found. So we'll repeat the steps 2, 3 and 4 to generate the frequent item sets. And finally, at the end, we are having all the frequent item sets. Now this is the first part. Now the second part of this is generation of the association rules. In the first step, we have got all the frequent item sets. Now from this frequent item set, we'll generate the association rules. All the frequent item sets are generated. Now we'll identify the free association rules. Which items can be together purchased or how they can be associated. So for that we'll use generate the different association rules. The different rules are generated in this phase by considering the each frequent item set. So we'll pick one frequent item set at a time. We'll write down all the possible combinations from these frequent item sets. Let's say I have 1 and 2 items in the item set, frequent item set. So there is a possibility to wrap the rule as 2 derives 1 and 1 derives 2. So possible combination, we are getting only 2 rules here. Now the next step is to evaluate the rules. Now I will evaluate these rules based upon the confidence. So generated rules based on support, confidence and the left we can evaluate. So if we specify the minimum confidence, based upon that the rules which are having the minimum confidence greater than this, the confidence greater than minimum confidence will be selected as the association rule. So the last step is present the results. So finally we're having all the association rules satisfying the criteria that you have used, either minimum confidence or the support, minimum support for the rules. So this is how this Apriori algorithm works. So the pseudocode for this algorithm is written here. Ck is the candidate item set of size k. So initially you are having the candidate sets. From these candidate sets we are to identify the frequent item sets. So the frequent item sets are represented with Lk. We'll start with the one frequent item set L1. We'll have the iterations. So first you are having candidate generated from Lk. For each transaction T in the database, we'll increment the count of all the candidates in the Ck plus 1 that are contained in the transaction T. So once you have the candidate item sets, we'll apply the minimum support. The candidate item sets which are supporting or satisfying the minimum support value greater than this minimum support, that is Ck plus 1. So those are added in the Lk plus 1. So that is the frequent item set added in the new set Lk plus 1. So like this we are getting the frequent item sets. One frequent item set we are starting with. So first we are getting one frequent item set, then you are getting two frequent item set. So this process is repeated and will get all the frequent item sets at the end. So the algorithm may be asked. The algorithm find the frequent item set using an iterative level wise approach and which is based upon the candidate generation. So what is the input to this algorithm? Is the D or database of transactions. Now what other inputs are given to this a priori algorithm? That is the minimum support, min sub, minimum support count threshold. And what output we want? The frequent item set L. And this is the algorithm. So same pseudocode is implemented, is written here as an algorithm. So first we will find out the frequent item set 1. Then consecutively you will find L2, L3 and so on depending on the data. So where two functions are very important, that is Apriori gen function and the subset ck comma t. In Apriori gen algorithm, you are identifying the LK minus 1, the frequent item sets. So how the frequent item sets are generated? We'll use the joining and pruning step. Once the candidate item sets are generated, apply the minimum support. If it is not satisfying, then that is the infrequent item set. And if it is infrequent, then delete that candidate item set. So we are identifying it is frequent or not. So it is the infrequent subset procedure or function, where if it is not satisfying the threshold, it is the infrequent item set. So this is how this a priori algorithm works.